The IWC have lost their brains on this idea that CM Punk might actually wrestle in Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions. And it's like, here's the problem, right? Oh my God. You mean CM Punk made a comment a few years ago, and now he's never allowed to walk that back. He's never allowed to do anything that contradicts that statement that he made to The Miz. If that is the case, IWC, y'all say a lot of stupid shit, and y'all shouldn't be allowed to talk about anything on the internet because the shit you say is always wrong. Here's a news flash for the IWC. People change. People change their opinions. Sometimes just your stance on things soften a little bit. It doesn't mean you don't care, but it just means that you say a lot of shit when you're angry and you're defensive. And on top of that, CM Punk has a job to do. He works for WWE, and it is not as easy as some people think to tell your employer to go fuck off. I'm not going to show up for work. So at the end of the day, you're an employee for a company that has asked you to show up in Saudi Arabia. The reality is you can lose your job, you can get on bad graces with the company, or you can show up begrudgingly or happily, and you can do the job. But his stance could have softened IWC. Punk has been a pretty solid advocate for a lot of these causes, a lot that I agree with, a lot that I do not absolutely agree with, but he has tended to take a stance on a lot of things, and I don't think him fluctuating on one thing should be seen as this big outcry of CM Punk being a hypocrite. It is stupid to all of a sudden start to shame him because he's ultimately doing his job. And wherever WWE asks him to go, he's going to go wrestle. He can wrestle and still disagree with what is going on. That's the reality. He doesn't need to destroy this Night of Champions card to take a stance. But the more important thing is that we're getting a hell of a feud, IWC. And if you weren't so blinded by stupid politics and wrestling, you could come to see that we're getting the final chapter of John Cena and CM Punk, and it's going to be a masterclass on what two guys who by every stretch of what you can measure in wrestling, these guys are too old, they're over the top, they're not in the best physical shape of their life, and they're still going to put on a masterclass of what professional wrestling can be. If you pay attention to IWC, you might actually learn something about the psychology and the storytelling of professional wrestling. Cena versus Punk for the final time. Just embrace it, IWC. Stop politicking our wrestling. Just let it be. It is the one place right now where politics shouldn't matter. Our professional wrestling. Just let it be wrestling. Or IWC, just don't watch it. I'm good with that as well. But complaining on X and Blue Sky does not do shit but make you look like a bunch of whiny little bitches. Just lock in, enjoy the story. John Cena, CM Punk for the final time. It's going to be magic.